Welcome back to another video. My name is Henrik and today we're going to be taking this car for a drive on the Autobahn to see its consumption. This is the Black Edition of the Volvo XC40 and the twin motor performance, so 442 horsepower, 670 Newton meters of torque. It has an 82 kilowatts an hour battery and we're going to see how fast this goes. What we are going to do is we're going to drive it on the Autobahn at 80 kilometers an hour. There you go, you cannot see me. There we go, 80 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers an hour, 120 and 140. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. That would really help a lot to allow us to do this with more cars. And here's just another view of it. I think it personally looks really, really nice. Like the black rims on there, the 20-inch rims and everything else being black. On the inside, well, you'll be able to see nothing has really changed, but I do think that this car looks pretty good. I'm not expecting too much from the consumption because the XC40 is a car that is supposed to be a combustion car, but they updated it to fit an electric vehicle on there. So you are not going to have very good aerodynamics on this car, 0.329, which is not that great. And also in the back, you do get the hump there, so you can see it is supposed to be a combustion car, but with the electric car, well, we'll see what it gets. So let's get over and stick ourselves behind the truck and see how fast this car can go. Or how far, not how fast. I have now taken the prime position behind the truck, going around 90 right now. So again, just for clarification, driving 100 is not going to be completely plausible. We're driving behind the truck and basically doing what speeds they're doing just to get the least drag coefficient that we can get and wind resistance, whatever you want to call it. So in average, it's probably going to average out to around 85 kilometers an hour. That's what we had with the other test. Always depends on how fast the car in front of us or the truck in front of us is going to drive. Let's give you a quick breakdown of the car. Well, it is the model year of 2025, so all the updated variants with the bigger battery, the bigger speed for the charging speed, so up to 200 kilowatts now. The battery is an 82 if you get the extended range, and with the twin motor performance, also a little bit more horsepower, so 442 horsepower with a top speed of 180. 180, it's a Volvo. Polestar goes up to 200. But you do get a fairly good charging speed with those updated 200, allowing you to charge this in 26 minutes, which I think is a fairly good speed, and we're going to be able to see if we can actually reach that here in the near future. In the interior, just like previously, not anything has really changed, apart from one thing that I have noticed on all the newer Volvo models, is that the area on the steering wheel that you have the buttons on previously were always in kind of this piano black, and now they are on this matte trimmed color, which I really like because you don't have all the touch well, you don't have the touch stains on there like you have in the middle or on the silver like chrome thing here as well. So that's a really nice touch that had, for instance, I think the first car that had that was the EX30, if I'm not mistaken, or I am mistaken. Well, check the other video on the EX30 if you want to know about that. But otherwise, you got your heads-up display. You don't have your heads-up display. You have your digital cockpit. Heads-up display is actually not a thing on this car. This car that we have standing right here is basically fully maxed out. The Black Edition only comes in the Plus or the Ultra variant, and we have the Ultra variant with also the updated or the added business package, which gives you LED pixel lights. It gives you this panoramic window in the Ultra variant, and the business also includes a couple of other things. One thing that is also the first on any Volvo test car that we've had is that we actually don't have the wall seats in here, and I am a massive fan of these seats. The wall seats I've never really liked because they're just so itchy on your skin. So cruising right around the truck, sounds in here very nice. Obviously we're driving at 85 right now, so you're not going to have too much wind noise, and it's not the most windiest day. So it feels very nicely isolated. I feel fine in here. We also have the Harman Kardon sound system in here, so very nice sound system to just give you a nice enjoyment when driving this car. You don't have Apple CarPlay wirelessly, and none of the Volvo cars have that apart from the EX30 had that. And one thing, if you know the answer to this, if you press this button on the steering wheel, which I have never known what it does, but it gives you this second display, which is just gray. If you were theoretically to connect your Apple CarPlay via, well, USB, would this show Google Maps on Apple CarPlay? If you drive a Volvo and you know what this does, please let me know, because that's one thing I've always been interested about. I mean, I could probably just Google it, but if you know the answer, why don't you just comment it down below? And let me know what you think on the car while you're down there. So let's now do a little time lapse of driving behind this truck, and we'll talk to you a little bit later on. Let me also quickly explain the rules behind this test, because yeah, you gotta have rules. It is always going to be the exact same setup for every single car. Well, apart from the temperature and theoretically the weather, but currently it's exactly the same as we have done in the previous 3 tests that we've done with the Ioniq 6, the Passat, and also the Skoda Enyaq. It's around 21, 22 degrees with no wetness outside, even though it is supposed to rain a little bit later. Hopefully it doesn't glide over us so we can do a full speed test, but we'll see. We'll hopefully do that. And we're also going to keep everything on standard, so we're not going to have eco mode on here. We're not doing hypermiling. We're just doing what the average user would be getting as a consumption if they would use this as a daily commute. Say 80 on the Autobahn behind a truck, 120 on the Autobahn, 140, and also top speed. We're not going to have heated seats on. Well, if in the winter we might put it on, but like I said, climate control is going to stay on. We're not going to have any special modes in here, so fairly standard, no hypermiling, because honestly, how many people are actually going to do hypermiling? Those are just some hyper freaks who want to get the lowest consumption on the car. Well, I mean, I kind of am doing that right now, but not completely hypermiling. One thing I've also noticed about the interior is it is very nice. I do like it. It is supposed to be a premium compact SUV, and you definitely notice that in the price. The test vehicle here is just around 69,200 euros. So quite expensive, but I mean, you also get a car that goes from 0 to 100 in 4.6 seconds. And the other thing that is fairly nice is what I've noticed is that there is padding. Okay, what are you doing? It's such a typical woman that doesn't accelerate on the accelerator entrance on the highway. Why is she driving 50 on the accelerator? Just go ahead of the truck. Everything is clear on the front. Never mind. But there's actually extra padding on the side here. And once I get comfortable into a drive, I usually put my elbow up here. And this is really nice because it does pattern a little bit. The quality otherwise, you only have a little bit of piano black right in there. Why has lane assist just get off? Or why is it not working anymore? No, come on, I need adaptive cruise control, otherwise I can't drive. No, turn it back on, please. Come on, why are you not working anymore? What have I done to you? Just because I was just ranting about the woman doesn't mean you now have to consequently not work for me. But one thing I gotta say about not because it's not working anymore, about the cruise control is it's a little bit funky. It usually goes a little bit too far to the left and too far to the right, and doesn't make me too comfortable when driving it. But that is just a thing that I've noticed. Maybe, well, it's an average cruise control. I'd say it's not the best. It's also not the worst. But you do notice, even we're driving here 90 currently, because of that extra panoramic window, there is quite a lot of noise coming from that. Well, not quite a lot, but you can definitely notice it. If you're quiet, you can definitely notice that. I'll definitely have to see how that sounds when we're driving 120, 140. And back we are, and now we're going to do 120. 120 means we're not going to be stuck behind the truck anymore, and I'm going to get there a little bit faster now, if conditions allow us. And obviously if there are construction zones, which there are 2 on this zone, we're going to be driving 80 or around 85, maybe even 90. And now you can definitely hear what I meant. That panoramic window, just like with any other panoramic window, if I shut up for a second, you can hear the wind noise going over the bump, and then trying to go down and just creating a little bit of wind turbulence. Otherwise, very comfortable. The road is not the most even road right now, so it's a little bit louder, but still a very comfortable ride here, especially what you would expect for a premium SUV costing this much. And like I said, the quality in the interior really does say that it is a premium SUV. I would theoretically expect maybe massage functions or cool seats in here. Heads-up display would have been very nice as well. That is one thing I personally would be missing to really call it a complete premium SUV, or to lift it up from those other premium compact SUVs. But a heads-up display would, in my opinion, be something that I would even like to see, maybe even as an extra. So when we're driving 120, one thing that I will also quickly notice is that the twin motor gets a different kind of layout with the engine compared to the single motor, because it's obviously a twin motor. Who would have expected? But on the back, you get a permanent synchronized magnet, or permanently synchronized magnet motor which is a little bit heavier than the front one. They both produce around the same horsepower, so in total 242 horsepower with 670 Newton meters, 0 to 100 4.6 seconds, and that's 0.2 quicker than the normal twin motor. You also get the performance, which we have here for, what was it, 800 euros extra, something right around there, I think. But in the front you get an asynchronized motor, which is not also a permanent magnet, so it doesn't have that big magnet in there holding it into place, but instead it is theoretically just the asynchronized version of that. That means it is 13 kilograms lighter, it is more efficient, and it also is able to shut off when it is not required, so you're just driving with the back motor, which therefore means more efficiency, more range, and just good in general. But this car also looks very nice on the outside. I did see a couple people when they're driving past look like, wait, that's a Volvo XC40 with black rims? What am I looking at? Because you can get the oxidized black color for the normal car as well, but you can't get those rims. And those 20-inch rims with the fully blacked out, what's called titanium black or sapphire black, looks really good in my opinion. And the suspension does also feel fairly comfortable driving here at 120. It's obviously a little bit, well not obviously, I think it is a little bit firmer than the standard one, the twin performance motor, with the twin motor performance. The name is so confusing. I do think it is a little bit more stiffened up compared to the normal one, just to give you a little bit more of a dynamic chassis basically, and a little bit more, oh come on, accelerate a little bit, man. Should give you that a little bit more of a sportier feel. Steering wheel also feels very nice in the hand. You get that like fake leather on there, which looks really nice and also feels very nice. Not too thick, not too small, just very good in my opinion. And I gotta go back to the point where I said I really do like these seats. I think I might like the wall seats a little bit more when it comes to the climatization on those ones, because they take up the heat a lot better and you don't sweat too much on them. And these do start to sweat quite a lot, especially my lower back, touching constantly onto the back seat. Well, it's getting a little bit warm, even though it's only 20, no, it's actually 23 degrees outside now. But yeah, just a little bit warm. I like the wall seats for the climatization a little bit more, but the comfort on here is a lot better in my opinion. Well, as you can see, we do have a little bit of a traffic jam here, so this is going to definitely throw down our time a lot. We did have an average speed of 110, and now we're down to 106 in the space of 1 minute. So we're obviously going to have to keep that in mind once we do our final calculation, but I think this is not too long. It's just a red, probably just an accident happened or something just happened right there, because that was not there like 2 minutes ago. So we'll see what happened and we'll get on with our journey afterwards, and hopefully we can do a little bit faster than 120, than 20 kilometers an hour, I mean. Well, I mean, we can do 0 kilometers an hour. That's also one way to do it. Why do I always have to say things and then we just stop? There we go, it keeps going. Okay, thank you. Yeah, back to 10. What? Getaway car, Swifties hupen. Ach nee, no. I don't know if you saw that on camera, but that Fiat 500 hybrid just put up a sign through her panoramic window saying Swifties, no, getaway car, Swifties, so Taylor Swift's, honk your horn. I'm not a Swiftie, I'm in a deli. A deli, is that a word? I think a deli. I think I just made a deli up. That's a good one. Because I do like Adele's music, but I'm not the biggest fan of Swift's music. She just danced and looked at me while I was looking over. That's always awkward. And I took a total dead serious face. And now she was hiding, but she smiled at me because I saw her. Two guys and they're probably listening to Taylor Swift's music the whole day, and she's just going off and they're like, oh come on, I just want to get home. But they're still going to Munich. That's like another 600 kilometers. Yeah, fun times, man. Fun times. It's an old B class, isn't it? No, never mind. It's a Peugeot. What happened to him? Her. It's a Swiftie. It was a Swiftie. What else did you expect, huh? I have no idea what that was. I'm assuming stuff. I mean, every person is a Swiftie nowadays, isn't it? I feel like I'm getting old. Maybe I should become a Swiftie. Well, back on our journey we go, back to 120 kilometers an hour. Let's now do the 140 an hour test. We're still going to stay in the same mode, so we're just going to stay in the standard mode. Only the top speed test is going to be the test where we actually do full power and we put it into performance. 140, you can definitely hear the wind noise now, in my opinion. It has picked up quite a lot from the panoramic window, so that doesn't seem to be isolated the best way. Yeah, you can hear that. That is really uncomfortable, I gotta say, and that doesn't sound too nice. It is a different day now, as you might be able to tell, due to the fact that yesterday was just too much traffic, that traffic jam, and I couldn't be asked to film after that. So 140 now, and also today is Sunday, meaning no essential trucks are allowed to be driving on the Autobahn today, so we should have a fairly clear view here on the Autobahn. As you can see, there's no trucks in my view right now. But yeah, I'm not going to talk too much because the video is already quite long, so let's get straight to it and start the time lapse. So the time has come to see what this car can do at 180. 180. It's only 180, but this is my favorite part of the tests because I can go as fast as I want, and I always love to do that. Let's go into the settings and change it into performance. Once we have that done, we can go on the Autobahn here. Everything looks clear. The 140 an hour test was a little bit, well, unlucky due to the fact there was a traffic jam. We still got an average speed of around 120, which is not bad. I would have liked a little bit more. So let's see this kick from 110 up to, well, let's wait until that Audi is a little bit gone, and let's see. That's a fairly good kick. 150, 160, 170, and 180 and 83 for 184 is this, 185 is the speed limit of this car. And now I gotta say, it is really noisy in here. I gotta speak up quite a bit to actually hear myself. And for a car that costs 70,000, I always feel like the panoramic window is not completely closed, but that thing is just massively loud. I gotta say, that is insanely loud. The Skoda Enyaq had also a panoramic window, which was even bigger, and that wasn't that loud. This one is quite loud. One thing that's actually pretty funny about the 180, in German we say abgeriegelt, which is basically it is locked or electronically locked at 180. However, Volvo doesn't say abgeriegelt, it says abgesichert, which is basically, it means it is safety locked at 180. It's not like, oh no, we didn't electronically limit it there to just tell you it can't go faster. No, we safety locked it there for your own safety. That just shows you how dominant Volvo is with that 180 speed limit, which was really, Volvo was the first car company to really set a limit that low, and I think it is still the lowest limit on a whole line on any production company that, or car company that does cars. I think 180 is the lowest number. So yeah. Let's now compile all the numbers and take a look at them. So in total, we had for the 100 kilometers an hour test a consumption of 12.2 kilowatts an hour. The average speed there was 85 kilometers an hour with a total time of 64 minutes. That would give us a theoretical range of 648 kilometers. However, that will also cost you almost 6 euros, 5 euros and 98 cents. For the 120 kilometers an hour test, we had an average consumption of 20.6 kilowatts an hour, with an average speed of 98 kilometers an hour due to the traffic jam and a total time of 15 minutes. Theoretical range would there be 383 kilometers with a cost of 10 euros and 9 cents. This is calculated with the 49 cents with the ENBW medium plan, which costs $5.99 per month. The 140 kilometers an hour test was 24.7 kilowatts an hour of usage. The average speed there was 114 kilometers an hour, again due to traffic jam. That took us a total of 46 minutes. And the total range you'd get was 320 kilometers, with a cost of 12 euros and 10 cents per 100 kilometers. For the top speed, we had a mind-boggling consumption of 37.2 kilowatts an hour, with an average speed of 146. That is the fastest we have tested so far, with a total time of 37 minutes. The total range there would, however, only be 212 kilometers, with a cost per 100 kilometers of 18 and 23 cents. Which is quite massive. Just to give you a comparison, a Skoda Enyaq on that same route at a top speed of 137 kilometers an hour had a top speed consumption of 26.1 kilowatts an hour, so 11 kilowatts an hour less. and that would give you with that car a range of almost 300 kilometers. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.